Hey, what is up everyone? Hope everyone is doing well, and more importantly, I hope you're having a great week 3. So we are pretty much at the final day of week 3. So this is Saturday night and in US time, and then tomorrow will be the last day as well. So I am back at you today to do one of my weekly videos. So this is going to be the week 4 preview schedule. So for those that are new, I always do weekly videos on the upcoming schedules for each week, including some extra tips on some of the team stats, and I also do a separate video on waiver ads that I think would be helpful for the week as well. So yeah, if you are new to the channel and you like this sort of content, definitely feel free to subscribe. These videos are generally quite short, under 10 minutes, just to give you a good amount of information, to be able to give you some different perspectives and helps, and hopefully help you guys with your fantasy matchups going forward as well. Because at the end of the day, I always say it's important to collect as much info out there to build your own perspective, and that way you can make your own decision, which you will be more comfortable with as well, which is the best way to play fantasy and the most fun, to be honest. And look, I'm just a guy that loves NBA fantasy. I love chatting it, and so hopefully we can build a little community here and we can share things in the comments, and we'll see how it goes. So we'll dive into the video, enough of the boring stuff, and let's get into week 4 for fantasy basketball season. All right, so we're gonna look at the schedule first. So teams with 2 games. So these are always the teams that you want to sort of avoid if possible. So we got Houston, Indiana, and Clippers. Man, Clippers, they've had a couple. I think week 2 as well, they also had 2 games. So has been a great start to their season. And now that Harden is in there, I'm sure they're stealing a lot of stats from Westbrook, Kawhi, Leonard, and Paul George owners, which sort of sucks. So we'll see how that season rolls out. 3 games this week. We got Atlanta again, Brooklyn, Charlotte, Chicago, Denver, Detroit, Golden State Warriors. We got Memphis, Miami, Minnesota, the Pels, Phoenix, Spurs again having 3, Utah again, and Washington having 3 as well. So the 4 teamers, now these are always what everyone wants to hear. We got Boston, we got Chicago. Oops, that is an accident. Chicago has actually 4, not 3. So scrap that from the 3 list. That was my bad. Cleveland has 4, Dallas, Lakers, Milwaukee. The Knicks have 4, OKC has 4, Orlando again has 4. So they had a great schedule to start off with. Philadelphia, Portland, 4 games after a 2-game stretch, and they got the Kings and Toronto as well. So just some other stuff that's important to note as well. The weekend double, I love these for week 4. You're going to be able to snag any player from OKC, Dallas, and Memphis, and you're going to get 2 games out of them over the weekend as well. So for those of you who like to see how the week goes and then save all your waiver picks for that weekend, those are the teams that you might want to focus on if they provide the stats that you're targeting. And the other double that I like is the free game. So the one on Sunday, the end of the week, and then Monday, the start of the new week, which will be week 5. We've got Boston, Denver, Detroit, Houston, and Sacramento playing. So if you are looking to get a free game in, I always say if one of those teams has 4 games the next week, and you can also get them on the last day of the current week, then you're basically going to get 5 games in 8 nights, which is just, you know, awesome value as well. Because really, it's hard to predict who's going to do what unless you know injuries up front, which no one knows, obviously. So I just think, you know, it's best to always just get the player that's playing more minutes, as long as sorry, not more minutes, more games, as long as obviously he's, you know, that player is not going to be considerably worse than the other player in terms of the average stats, and that way at least, you know, you're giving yourself a high probability, which is really all it's about. At the end of the day, so much of fantasy, unfortunately, is luck. People can act like it's not, but a lot of it is. Any given player can blow up at any given night. That's why you rather have more games than less games, if your league allows a maximum amount of games and doesn't have a game limit, obviously. Now, light days as well, very important to note. I always like to take advantage of light days where possible. This week we got Monday and Thursday, so I think there's 4 games on Monday and 2 games on Thursday. Unfortunately, no teams play both days. So last week, well, week 3, there was Milwaukee, Orlando, and I think, who was it? Atlanta. They played on the Thursday and the Saturday, I believe, was the light games this week for week 3. So unfortunately, we won't have that luxury in week 4 coming up. But obviously, there are some players, teams that will still be playing this week as well on the light days. But I think there's about 8 different teams, so I didn't want to record them all. Heavy days as well. You got the Tuesday and the Thursday and the Friday, sorry. So we got 10 on Tuesday, 11 on Friday. Look up for those days. What I always do is I always just check those days to see how many of my players are already playing. Because if I'm going to pick a player and off the waiver, for example, and they're playing both the Tuesday and Friday, I'm not going to be able to get anything from them. So let's say you get a player that's playing 4 games this week, but 2 of them on the Tuesday and Friday, and you're already banked, like, you know, completely stacked in those days. You're basically only going to get probably 2 days from them. So unless you know you want to replace someone else off your waiver list that's currently playing those days, just make sure to take that into consideration when you're picking your waiver picks as well. So let's move on to back-to-back. So back-to-backs are all super important. Obviously, you get one waiver pick that plays 2 games in a row, which is again excellent value if you are trying to max out games played, which I tend to like to do. So you got the Sunday and Monday. So Sunday is week 3, last day this week, and then Monday the next week so that's tomorrow. It's going to be Chicago, New York, and Washington. So if you pick any of these teams tomorrow, you're going to get a free game on Monday as well in week 4. And Chicago is playing, and I believe New York as well is playing 4 games each. So you'll get that 5 games in 8 nights that I was talking about. So Kobe White and potentially Josh Hart, he's on a lot of waivers nowadays because he hasn't been improving. Could be worth the flyer, I think. Kobe White's probably not on the waivers anymore. A lot of teams have started to pick him up again. But yeah, just 2 players that came to my mind. Monday and Tuesday, there's no back-to-back. Tuesday, Wednesday, lots of back-to-backs. You've got Atlanta, Dallas, Lakers, Minnesota, Orlando, Philly, and Portland, which is great because I have Embiid. Wednesday, Thursday, you got no back-to-back. Thursday, Friday, nothing. Then the Friday, Saturday, you got Charlotte, Chicago, Milwaukee, Pels, New York, Spurs again. Saturday, Sunday, you got Dallas, Memphis, OKC, and then the Sunday, Monday, which is last day of the week 4, and then first day of week 5, you got Boston, Denver, Detroit, Houston, Sacramento. So just from this list, I'm liking New York and Chicago waiver picks. You can see that they play the double, the Sunday, Monday, and then they're also playing again on the Friday, Saturday as well. So there's a bit of a gap in between. I think there's 1 game in between, but you're going to get a lot of value if you maybe pick them on the way. I think they play on Wednesday as well, so you can maybe get like sort of 3 games in 4 nights, I believe. So definitely check that out. I should start recording 3 games in 4 nights. I might do that going forward. I think that's sort of pretty handy as well to give you guys as well in terms of maxing out the games played. So some extra information. I always like to look into this. It doesn't mean you have to pick anything, but it's sort of some stuff that I look at. Teams that give up the most points for this week, you're going to get Washington. So currently at the moment it's Washington, San Antonio, Charlotte, Utah, Indiana, Milwaukee. So all these teams are currently giving 120 plus points, which is crazy. I think Milwaukee's after today's game is probably slightly under that. They've because I think Orlando only scored 110 or something on them, so they might have reduced their average. Teams that give up the most 3-point attempts, you got Chicago, Spurs, Memphis, New Orleans Pelicans, and then for the teams that give up the most 3-point makes, you got Chicago, Spurs, Memphis, Charlotte, and Wizards. So what you can do with that information if you care. So really the most points, obviously most points that a team is giving up means that there's more likely to give up more stats, which means that if you pick a player that's playing against these teams, they are probably have a higher likelihood that they're going to deliver more points against those teams. So stats against those teams. So, and in particular for 3-pointers, if you're looking to target 3-pointers, you'd probably want to play get a player that's playing the Spurs or Chicago or Memphis, because obviously giving up both the maximum amount of 3-point makes and 3-point attempts in the league as well. So just some extra information. Doesn't mean it's at the end of the day anything can happen on any given day, but just some extra information for you guys. I like to take that into consideration. Teams worth holding for week 5. So these are teams that players you might pick from teams from week 4, and at the end of the day you may want to hold them a bit more, longer. So they're playing 4 games on week 5 as well. You got Boston, Cleveland, Chicago, Milwaukee, Orlando, Toronto. So that is a lot of the same teams from week 4. So I believe Boston, they're all already on week 4 playing 4 weeks, and they're also playing, it looks like they're playing 4 games in week 5 as well. Sorry, I was mixing the word game and weeks up there. But anyway, what the purpose of that is that if you pick up, let's say pick up Kobe White, Karis LeVert off the bench, the waiver, if you hold him all for week 4, you're also going to get him for week 5, and again save that waiver pick. You can get 4 games, so you can get 8 games in basically 2 weeks, which is awesome. And just a bit of a forecast going forward. So for the next 3 weeks, that's round 4, round 5, and round 6, you're going to get 11 games from Chicago, Cleveland, Denver, LA, Lakers, Milwaukee, New Orleans Pels, Orlando, and Toronto. So they are all giving you 11 games, which is the max you can get in the next 3 rounds. And then the worst teams in the next 3 rounds is going to give you 8 games, and that is Houston, Indiana. So if you're going to pick anyone off the waiver wire, they're not the best teams to pick if you want to keep them for a while, because they're only giving you 8 games. So I think they're giving you 2 this week, and then 3 next week, and then 3 I think the week after. So yeah, not great Houston in Indiana in terms of long, or so we'll say medium term holds for players. And lastly, just some extra considerations. I generally don't do this live, but I like to chuck it up, see what people think as well. Like maybe you guys have some opinions, but these are things I look for when I'm preparing for week 5 each week. So I review all my daily lineups again to look for those heavy days and see which days that I don't want to add any players, and try and avoid it if possible. Obviously, sometimes you can't, because you have a really good player, he's playing that day, you can't not pick him just because he's going to play that one day where you have to bench someone. If possible, take advantage of light days. So this week I took advantage and tried to get a lot of Orlando players. Unfortunately, I missed on Suggs in the league. I really needed him, which sucks. And I dropped in the week after, which really hurt me, especially that 6 steal game, which really, stinks, to be honest. But anyway, it is what it is. I got Mo Wagner and and Goga as well. So that was alright. Anyway, so yeah, take advantage of light days. Identify any of your star players have 2 games. So this week it'll be, yeah, as I said, so Indiana and Houston and Clippers. So, you know, Fred VanVleet for Houston, if he's your main assist guy, you're going to have to get assists off the bench that week, sorry, off the waiver that week, or you can have to just punt it. It may, sorry, I'm not saying you have to, but it may be something you consider if he's your main guy and you don't have much else. So, yeah, so identify star players who are only playing 2 games. Halliburton's a good example of that. You're going to miss 12, like 24 assists if he plays 2 games instead of the 4. And review your opponent's stats and main star schedule. So I always review my opponent's stats, try and figure out what they may be good at that week and what they may be bad at, to figure out what I'm going to target that particular week, instead of just getting everyone that's in my, that it sort of aligns with. Because I have a main couple of stats that I punt each week, but I have a couple that are sort of borderline where I can maybe switch over to them if I get an extra guy off the waiver wire. So I look into those things as well. Otherwise I have about 4 or 5 that but it's mainly 4 that I really target each week. And then there's like 2 that sort of like spill over, and there's 2 that I definitely punt. And there's, yeah. So I also check as well like their main stars. So if I'm going to go for, we'll say, assists, and they got Tyrese Halliburton, and I've only got a little bit of assists, or I'm okay in assists, I will definitely go for assists then, because he's only got, you know, Halliburton playing 2 games. So even though Halliburton could blow up for like 20 assists a game, at the end of the day, you know, you got to take the probabilities, right? So I also look at their main star and their schedule and see to help me figure out what I'm going to do for that week. So that is it for week 4. Hope you guys again had a great week 3. If you do have anything that you'd like me to share here going forward, I'm going to start sharing, I think, the teams that are playing the light days, and also I'm going to start sharing as well maybe teams that are playing some of those other teams that I've listed that are actually giving up a lot of points in 3s. Maybe that will help you out, maybe not. Otherwise, yeah, I'd love to hear what you guys think as well about how you prepare for the week, and also what you think is important. So definitely leave some comments in the comment section if you have something to share with everyone. Otherwise, I want to give a shout out as well to again, Reddit and hashtag. So I get a lot of I prepare the schedule stuff on hashtag, and then I get the back-to-back info from Reddit. So just want to give credit to those guys, because I obviously don't go through, you know, each schedule on ESPN and actually get all the info as well. But I got to give credit where credit's due as well. So yeah, otherwise, thanks very much for watching. If you did like the video, definitely give it a like, and if you like this content, definitely subscribe, and I will be back at you tomorrow for the waiver ads for week 5 as well. Sorry, week 4. But until then, hope you guys have a good one, and good luck with the last day of this week, and we'll catch you in the next video. Take care.